creators, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia, so happy that you're with us today. Have you ever been camping or at someone's house and you want to make some cards? You have some ink pads, you have some card bases, but you don't have any stamps. Well, guess what? We are going to show you how to take a household item. That's right. Something that I'm sure you can find in your car, in your van, or wherever you're staying to create a beautiful card. Now stay with us to the end because we have a couple of samples to show you that we think you will really like and give you some inspiration. Let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. Here is a card we made with just, you're not going to believe it, that's right, rubber bands. And we have 3 other samples to show you, but let's go ahead and create a card together. The first thing you're going to need to do is make sure that you have your base card. And I want to remind you, all our measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com on my blog, so you don't have to worry about taking down the measurements. Now, we have already cut these strips, and this is the strip that we're actually going to use the rubber bands on. Here's a great tip. I'm going to use a little bit of removable tape, and I'm just going to position it right here at a slant because I want it to hold its place and not move around. Now look what I've done. You can take any acrylic block and simply wrap your rubber bands around it. Now, as you can tell, I have a big one, I have a smaller one, and a medium-sized one. You could also just randomly put it, but we like ours kind of structured, so we went ahead and just wrapped it around to create this beautiful background with lines. Now, the 2 colors I'm going to use are Magenta Madness and Garden Green. Let's go ahead and get to stamping. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the lighter color first. And we are just going to press it into the ink pad. So we're just going to stamp it sideways, ink it back up again, and I'm going to bring it the other way. Look at that. That's a beautiful color. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. I'm going to bring over my green, and I'm going to simply clean this off with my little cleaner. And if I feel like I didn't really get all the ink right in between, I'm just going to pick that up and go over it because I want to make sure I don't have any of that Magenta Madness on my rubber bands, because I'm now going to bring in Garden Green. I'll just stamp off, make sure I'm drying it. And now I'm just going to bring it the other way. So let's go ahead and load it up with the Garden Green. I'm going to stamp it this way and bring it this way. Look at that design. We didn't have to use an embossing folder, a stencil, a stamp, just some rubber bands. So let's go ahead and create this card. We're going to bring in our base card, and we are going to simply lay down our first mat. And now I have selected a coordinating color to go ahead and put it as a mat behind this one. Oh, and just to make it pop. So let's go ahead and lay that down. I'm still going to leave a small border. We're going to adhere this mat. And now I am bringing in just some beautiful images here to run down this side of the panel. Look what we've done. We've taken some old DSP. We just ran our butterflies through them, and I'm simply going to put them right down here. Now I have 3 sizes, so I'm going to use our larger one, and then our medium-sized one, and finally our smaller one. And we're just going to put them on mini dimensionals. Gonna hold that and just kind of bend up those wings just a little bit. Now, because I want these to go from large to medium to small, I'm gonna go ahead and put the smaller one down here. That's a great tip. Put your top one and your bottom one just so that you can space them evenly. Bring up those wings once again. And now I'm going to simply put this one right in the middle. And because I put the top and the bottom, I have them evenly spaced. Now let me show you. You'll never believe it. Here is the DSP that we use to cut out our butterflies. You would never know it was roses. But so pretty. We didn't have to color anything. Very easy to do. But now we still need to put a sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and just put our sentiment right there. And we will lift it up with dimensionals. We're going to put our mats down on the inside. Now you can come back in and you could stamp a butterfly here. You could stamp another sentiment if you want. And here is our card. Look how beautiful those butterflies look. Look at those rubber bands. You would never know that it wasn't a stamp set. It was so pretty. So let me show you some other cards that we made. Look at this beautiful background that we created with rubber bands, all the same size. Just used a variation of color, did some matting right here and added another butterfly and simply added our sentiment page on the inside. Here's a very simple one. We simply stamped it with our rubber bands on the front background and then layered this thank you on some dimensionals. And we have the one that we showed you. This is an excellent one as a masculine card that you might want to use for Father's Day coming up or even for your Valentine's card. Now, here's another version of what we created today. It's a top fold card, but we simply added our flowers. So please make a comment below. Let us know which is your favorite card. We hope that you enjoyed today's session. We want to encourage you when you go out into the world, be kind to yourself and others, be creative in your crafting, use those rubber bands, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.